Hi, this is part 2 to the lesson 9 video. I was having Zoom issues again, so we left off on me looking at the Katsudo textbook and seeing if there's anything that I missed that's not in the Rikai textbook, and then we had the grammar notes that we're going to go over that's on Canvas. So in the Katsudo textbook, so the white one, this one, on page 74, at the bottom where it has the four little heads of the little character where it says Nihon equals Japan, and then right next to it it says seven, the kanji for time, ni oki mas. Right underneath that one, the 7 time ni okimasu, it says bun. Bun means sentence. And then on the next page, next to the little lady that's got a little sad face right here in blue, um, it says taihen desu. Taihen means like, oh, that's rough, that's hard, or like kind of like, oh, that must be really hard on you. That kind of sucks. Kind of is what that means. I did see on page 78 at the bottom, next to the little eyeball thing right here, page 78 at the bottom. The first line says jisho o kashite kudasaimasen ka? So jisho dictionary, and then kashite kudasaimasen ka? That means please lend me something. So they want you to lend them a dictionary. And then on the next page, the third bullet point down, it says den shi jisho. Denshi jisho. Denshi jisho is electronic dictionary, which I actually had to look up myself because I had no idea what that meant. And that's all that's in the Katsudo textbook that wasn't in the Rikai textbook from what I was able to see. So then the last thing for this lesson that we're going to look at is the grammar notes really quick. So let's look at that. So the first one, it says, 今までにどんな大学語を勉強しましたか? So basically asking you, oh, which, these three here, if my highlighter thing will work, these three, どんな, which, 外国語, these next three, the kanji, is foreign language, を勉強しましたか? So which foreign language did you study? And like out, yeah, which ones have you studied basically? So then you would say blank を勉強しました. You can say, oh, 日本語を勉強しました. So you studied Japanese, or 中国語を勉強しました. So you studied Chinese, or you could say スペイン語を勉強しました. So you studied Spanish. This next one is place de blank を勉強しました. So at this place, I did this, basically is what the structure is. So at this place, I did this, but in this context, you are saying that you studied. So you studied this at this place. So 大学で日本語を勉強しました. So at university, you studied Japanese. And then you could also say 高校, so high school, でドイツ語, which is German, を勉強しました. So you studied German in high school. And this next one is blank no toki, blank o benkyou shimashita. So at this, like during this time, I studied this. So koukou sei, so when you were a high school student, no toki, so koukou sei is just high school student. No toki is when you were a high school student. Furansugo, so French, o benkyou shimashita. So when you were a high school student, you studied French. Okay, and this next one has been it is 日本語の勉強をどうですか? So how so どう is like how was it? So how was studying Japanese? You say oh blank です. So you can say oh 簡単です or you say oh 難しいです. So 簡単 is easy and then 難しい is difficult. And you could also say something like this. 韓国語と似ています. So 似ています means similar and 韓国語 is Korean. So 韓国 is Korea, 韓国語 is Korean. And they are actually pretty similar. And then this next one is ラ、ラテイン語, so Latin, the language, と違います. So you could also say, since, oh, Korean is similar to Japanese, Latin is not similar to Japanese because 違います means like mistake or wrong. So you're saying, oh, there's a difference between them. Okay, and then this one, it's noun wa, noun to ga, blank des. So you're describing an aspect of noun one, which would be, so the aspect would be noun two, but it's an aspect of noun one, and you're describing it with an adjective. It can mean e or not adjective. So, for example, 日本語は発音が簡単です. So basically, this sentence is saying that pronunciation in Japanese is easy. Or you could just say 日本語は簡単です. So you could just say that, oh, Japanese is easy. But if you wanted to describe a aspect of Japanese, like its pronunciation, you could say, oh, 発音を, or sorry, 発音が簡単です. If you want to talk about like the vocab or another aspect of Japanese, you could do the exact same thing. Just put the second noun here and then the adjective describing said second noun of which is an aspect of the first noun here. Okay, and then this one says フランス語, so French, は文法が大変です. So 文法 is grammar. So 大変 is difficult or hard, or like that's rough. So the grammar of French is hard. Okay, and then this one is 日本語は難しいです plus 漢字を読みます. So you're combining these two sentences, and it looks like you're using the verb のが form. So it's 日本語は漢字を, and you're going to change 読みます, which is to read, to its dictionary form, which is 読む. So 読みます turns into 読む. And then you add のが to make it a descriptor of what you are speaking about, the noun. So 読むのが大変です. So you're saying, oh, reading kanji in Japanese is pretty rough, like it's difficult. Okay, and this next one is フランス語は大変です. So French is hard, plus 文法の勉強が大変です. So 文法 was grammar. So you're saying, oh, French is hard, but you're also saying that, oh, grammar, studying, because 勉強します. So studying grammar is also difficult. In combining those, you would say, フランス語は文法を勉強する, because 勉強します is the must form of 勉強する, which means to study. So 勉強するのが大変です. And then there's two more of these. Yeah. So then this one is the polite form of putting a verb in te form and then adding kudasai. Kudasai means please. So you put the verb in te form and then add kudasai masenka. So it's like, oh, would you like do this for me, kind of. Versus like, oh, like just please do this. So you could say, ちょっと待ってくださいませんか? It's like, oh, can you wait just a little bit? Versus ちょっと待ってください. It's like, oh, just please wait. And then this one says もう一度言ってくださいませんか? It's like, oh, can you please repeat yourself one more time? Versus もう一度 ite kudasai. It's like, oh, please repeat that. So it's just masen is like a negative form. It's like, oh, like is it okay if you do this request that I have? Versus like, oh, please do this. Okay, and then this next one is the verb stem. So it's gonna be, so for example, tabemasu. You're gonna use the stem, which is tabe. You're gonna get rid of mas and then add kata. That's how to do something. Okay, and then so examples are kanji no. You could see kanji no kakimasu, but you're gonna add kata instead because you're asking how to do something. So kanji no kaki kata. So how do you write kanji? Okay, and nihongo no yomimasu turns into nihongo no yomi kata, which is how do you read Japanese. And pasikon, which is like it's like a ticket to get on a train, but it's like an electronic one. It looks like a little credit card. It's pretty cool. So pasikon no tsukaimasu turns into pasukon no tsukai kata. So how do you use a pascon? Okay, and then this just combines the form, so the verb plus kata, and then adds it into a sentence because this alone is not a sentence. You would have to add something onto it. So if you can see that below here as well, you're turning the verb into kata, and then you're adding on to the rest of the sentence. Okay, so I hope this kind of gives you an idea of how to do the concepts, the grammar, what the kanji are, and how to read them. Let me know if you have any questions, or let Sensei know if you have any questions, or if, let Andrea know if you have any questions. And yeah, have a good day.